Chapter 55. 10 and Surrounded. Boom. Wang Fu Chaoji and Ao Shun's two fists collided with each other. Under the huge impact, forming a force air wave, the air wave over, the sky full of dark clouds suddenly burst apart. A storm rushed straight to the four directions, the earth below once again flying sand and stones. Foe stone people and group of dragons of the battle also suddenly stopped. Wang Fu Chaoji stood in place, but Ao Shun was instantly hit and flew backwards for more than 1,000 feet, his face flushed, his eyes containing the color of anger. Far away, Gu Hai raised an eyebrow. Wang Fu Chaoji is only in the Yuanying realm. Ao Shun has already opened the Heavenly Palace. The initial encounter actually saw Wang Fu Chaoji finish. It's not the same. Wang Fu Chaoji invoked the Divine Foothills world's power. All the people lent their power to Wang Fu Chaoji. Wang Fu Chaoji's power rushed to the heavens. That's the advantage of cultivating the luck. The ruler of a country, or the head of a clan, can mobilize the power of everyone under his jurisdiction to meet the foreign enemy. Grandmaster Liu Nian explained. Gu Hai stared into the distance, his eyes narrowing slightly. He himself was also the lord of a country. Could it be that he could fight like this as well? In the distance, the power of Wang Fu Chaoji's body was so huge that from afar, it looked like a burning flame. King Liu Yong, just don't send this little worm. Don't you want to destroy my divine foothills? Don't you want to get rid of me? Come on, come yourself. Wang Fu Chaoji glared at King Liu Yong, who was sitting there in the distance. Asshole. Ao Shun glared in defiance, wanting to charge in again. King Liu Yong, however, waved his hand slightly, stopping Ao Shun's words. Ao Shun was extremely respectful and nodded. King Liu Yong looked at Wang Fu Chaoji and said, Wang Fu Chaoji, do you think the Divine Foothills Imperial Dynasty is that hard to destroy? This king only tolerated you until now because he loves your talent. My tolerance has a bottom line. Ha 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 ha. King Liu Yong, you want me to submit? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible? I can't wait to eat your flesh, drink your blood, gnaw your bones, and sleep in your skin. Wang Fu Chaoji said with red eyes. HMPH, obstinate. King Liu Yong let out a cold snort. Probing his hand, he grabbed towards Wang Fu Chaoji with a palm. King Liu Yong did not get up, so he just grabbed with a palm, and steeply, rolling black mist emerged from the void once again. And in the black mist, a huge black palm suddenly emerged, pressing towards Wang Fu Chaoji in a sky-wide manner. Who? The huge black palm pressed in, rolling up a tornado, flying sand and stones, covering the sky and the ground, instantly covering the entire battlefield in general. Break for me. Wang Fu Chaoji glared and let out a loud shout as he blasted his fist over. Boom. The sound was dozens of times louder than the previous pair of punches with Ao Shun. The tremendous tremor that shook the countless peaks around them also shook and trembled violently. Ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. The valley at the foot of the flying boat where Gu Hai was, however, was steeply torn apart, tearing out a huge trench. Retreat, Master Liu Nian called out. The flying boat quickly and carefully retreated towards the back. Boom. There was a steep and loud bang. The throne that King Liu Yang was sitting on suddenly exploded. King Liu Yong stood up with a glare in his eyes. Who are you? With a flutter of his large sleeve, the flying sand and stones in the center of the battlefield were instantly swept up into the sky. However, a huge pit was seen in the center of the battlefield, and with the pit as the center, a trench spread like a spider's web towards the countless peaks. In the four directions, spreading to the armies in the four directions. Boom. Below the huge pit, as if it was a volcanic crater, rolling magma rushed straight out. It rushed straight down the trench to form a river of fire in all directions, and the armies of the two sides retreated again and again. On the other side, Wang Fu Chaoji had already returned to the top of the city tower. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth with his hand, He panted and glared at King Lu Yong in the distance. King Lu Yong, do you want to do it again? Do you believe it or not? The people of my divine foothills imperial dynasty, as soon as their strength is restored, they will immediately lend me their new strength, and I will have an unending source of power. Do you believe it? Huang Fu Chaoji coldly looked at King Lu Yong in the distance. King Lu Yong stood up. Even though the throne blew up, King Lu Yong wasn't injured at all, and coldly looked at Huang Fu Chaoji. You have the power of divine full world. I'll exterminate your divine foothills world's power. Collect it city by city. Exterminate your country's fortune. Let's see what you have to rely on. Humph. King Lu Yong let out a cold snort. Come on, Huang Fu Chaoji sneered. Sand the retreat. Blockade the borders. Don't allow anyone to cross the borders. Guard the four sides of divine foothill city. No one is allowed to enter or leave. King Lu Yong coldly said. Yes, the soldiers and horses in the four directions answered. Build a city on the ground. This king will be stationed here to guard divine foothill city. King Lu Yong said in a cold voice. Yes, rumble. The army quickly leveled the surrounding peaks, and the palace, as if hidden in a storage space, was quickly moved out. The army was stationed, and the artisans built the city, very swiftly, very quickly. In the distance, Huang Fu Chaoji's face was gloomy. King Lu Yang was building a city here to watch himself, and then send an army to start collecting the divine foothills dynasty one city at a time. One less city, one less portion of qi, and one less portion of the people's power that can be received. Is King Lu Yong trying to kill everyone? But at this moment, there was nothing he could do. The moment he retreated, divine foothills city would be taken down immediately. In the distance, Gu Hai and his party stared at the two parties that had stopped fighting in the distance. Even if Huang Fu Chaoji has a country's luck, but, looking at the situation, he's still no match for King Lu Yong. Why did King Lu Yong sound the retreat and stop? Why didn't he fight on in one go? Moreover, King Lu Yang's army is definitely more courageous than Huang Fu Chaoji's, and their numbers are much stronger. How come it stopped? Mu Chengfeng frowned. King Lu Yong is more powerful, but war isn't just about individual valor. Sometimes you need to look at the bigger picture, Gu Hai explained. Oh, Mu Chengfeng looked at Gu Hai doubtfully. There is a saying in the art of war, 10 and surround, 5 and attack, multiply and divide. Although King Lu Yong has a big advantage, at this moment, it's better to surround, Gu Hai explained. Art of war. What art of war? The crowd looked at Gu Hai in confusion. Gu Hai was slightly stunned. This is Sun Tzu's art of war. What do you want me to say? Well, my self-created art of war, I guess, just like right now. King Lu Yang's aspect is indeed much stronger, forcibly attacking the city and succeeding. But do you know how it turned out? Gu Hai laughed. On the side, Master Liunian said, the result is that the fish will die, and the whole city's army and people will fight to the death. King Lu Yong will eventually win, but he will also suffer heavy losses. Huang Fu Chaoji will also end up losing, but it's the same death, and King Lu Yong himself will be greatly injured. So, by surrounding divine foothills city, as time passes, the morale of the internal generals and people will become weaker and weaker, and when the morale is all depleted, breaking the formation will only be a breeze. Am I right? I remember you had a similar effect in your previous plan to destroy the song. It's not the warriors that are surrounded. It's the hearts that are surrounded. Long Wanqing laughed. Yes, King Lu Yong did play this hand beautifully. Not only that, but he also sent his army to attack the other cities of Divine Foothills Imperial Dynasty, which has some flavor of siege in it. Oh, King Lu Yong is not a generalized person. Gu Hai took a deep breath and nodded. Then what do we do now? Mu Chengfeng worried. Retreat first, Divine Foothills City. We can't enter it for now. slowly think of a way. Gu Hai shook his head and said, "Right, there's one of my mother's palace here. Let's go there." Long Wanqing's expression moved. "There's a palace here too." Gu Hai was slightly stunned. Long Wanqing's mother. There were a total of 2 palaces in Yingzhou. One was Silver Moon City, and the other was here. "But it's where my master's tribe is," Mu Chunfeng also laughed. "Oh, servant Mu's master. My master's father. The love flower grandmother," Mu Chunfeng laughed. Gu Hai was slightly puzzled. "Love flower grandmother is the same as the faux stone man you saw earlier. It belongs to the essence type of demonic beasts, plant essence. Love flower becomes a demon. The only place in the world where there are love flowers is here. And nowadays, there are a lot of little love flower demons. I also worship my master by chance. And then the old hall master set up his palace here, and met me. And I was lucky enough to join the One Piece Hall," Mu Chunfeng explained. The flying boat carried the crowd around the border army's blockade and shot towards the east. Where King Lu Yong was, the throne was destroyed, but, soon after, his subordinates sent a new one. King Lu Yong sat on top of the throne, his gaze cold as he looked at the distant divine foothills city, a cold smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. Next to him stood a man in green. The man's face was expressionless, and his eyes were filled with icy coldness, as if he had no human feelings. The green-clothed man steeply frowned slightly and looked at the direction in which the ancient sea flying boat had left. "Your Majesty," the man in green respectfully said. "A broken army. What's wrong?" King Lu Yong was puzzled. "I just heard a hint of Gu Chen's voice, and after listening attentively, it was the arrival of the first-grade hallmaster Long Wanqing, as if she was going to go to the love flower grandmother's place now." Broken Army respectfully said. "Gu Chen." King Lu Yong looked at Broken Army with a frown. "Yes, he and I are both heaven-ranked kins. If I paid too much attention, I would have been discovered by him. Didn't pay too much attention, however. It's him right," Broken Army solemnly said. "Gu Chen, looks like the King Grunting conference is over. Momo personally went there, but he didn't even get the Gu Chen. What exactly happened?" King Lu Yong frowned slightly. Broken Army stood on the side and did not speak. King Lu Yong looked at divine foothills city in the distance and suddenly revealed a light smile. "Long Wanqing, it's quite the time to come. Go to Grandmother Loveflower. It saves me a lot of trouble." On the flying boat, Gu Chen twisted his head to look in the direction of King Lu Yong, his brows slightly furrowed. "What's wrong?" Gu Hai said suspiciously. "We seem to have been discovered," Gu Chen frowned. "Oh, it seems like there's a person called Broken Army beside King Lu Yong, and he's also a heaven-grade kin. He found us," Gu Chen frowned. Broken Army. Long Wanqing's face changed. "What did they say?" Gu Hai frowned. "Just a couple of words at first. Then Broken Army used a sound barrier, and I couldn't hear them." "Sound barrier. I know how to do that too. Humph. I'll make sure they can't hear us either," Gu Chen said in displeasure. Probing his hand, he waved it. Buzz. There was a faint buzz around the crowd, followed by a quick disappearance.